questions and bring in the lawyer for the client who brought this complaint against Charlotte Dujardin, Stephan Wensing. Stephan Wensing, thanks very much for making the time to speak to us today. How did you get a hold of the video? Who is the client?
Well, I cannot say who the client is, and I will explain this, of course, because that's a big question. A few weeks ago, this client contacted me in order to admit a complaint to the FBI against Mrs. Charlotte Dujardin. She filmed this 2.5 years ago. I hear all over and over again that this should happen according to Ms. Dujardin 4 years ago. For me personally, it's not very likely because then the whole world was closed 4 years ago. So according to my client, this happened 2.5 years ago. My client was a former student of Charlotte Dujardin, and she was a sponsor of a lesson. So another student took this lesson from Charlotte Dujardin, and Charlotte Dujardin explained to the student that she wanted to lift up the legs of the horse in the canter more, and then she used the whip, as you saw on the footage.
And why did your student... why did your client come forward to you with this footage at this point?
At this point, a few weeks ago, but there's a whole history. First of all, when this happened, my client was thinking this is okay because it's Charlotte Dujardin. She's a superstar. She's the best rider of the world. So she was thinking everything Charlotte is doing and saying is okay. After that, she was doubting. She was thinking this is not okay. This is animal abuse. I must react on this. Then she has spoken with several people in the UK, in the dressage team, and they all warned her, don't do anything with this. She's been protected by the Federation. They will harm you. There will be victim blaming. So she was really afraid. She's still afraid of this. Then she had some doubts, but this year, 2 other more Olympic riders were suspended for Paris. And then she became a little braver. So then at the end of the day, she said, well, I cannot let her go away with this because if she win a medal and I do it then, or I do it during the Olympic, then it affects way more. I must do it now. So that's the reason why I admit on behalf of my client last Monday this complaint to the FBI.
And let's be clear, Mr. Wensing, as well. You say your client fears reprisal from the UK team for coming forward.
I don't understand your question. I'm sorry. Yeah.
So you suggested in your answer there that your client had known about this, but had the footage for a couple of weeks. You had the footage for a couple of weeks, but she was concerned that if she came forward, there would be some kind of reprisal for her revealing what had happened. Is that
absolutely, absolutely? But she made the video, the footage, so she has this for 2.5 years. I received it a few weeks ago. But my client was also concerned about the effect on Charlotte Dujardin. It's not that she's celebrating now. It's not that she feels any victory or that she's drinking champagne. Absolutely not. She feels sorry for her and she feels sorry for the dressage as well.
She's sympathetic to Charlotte Dujardin, is that what you're saying? That she did not want to have to reveal this, but out of concern for the welfare of these horses, she felt like she had to have this come out?
That's right. She wants to change the dressage world as well. Absolutely.
Now, you mentioned that this was the one incident that has been filmed. Have you got other incidents from your client that shows this kind of behaviour?
My client told me about other incidents, exactly like this one, about horse abuse. She saw at the barn of Charlotte Dujardin by herself, but there is no footage.
Right, there is no footage of that. Have you had any contact from Charlotte Dujardin's team at all at this point?
No, not at all. I have only contact with the FBI.
Now, you are a lawyer that specialises in this kind of thing, as I understand it. Just tell us what we see in the footage that has made it reach this point, people who have no idea about how dressage horses are trained.
No, I can imagine that. And it's always difficult with horses because they cannot speak, and it's difficult to recognize pain because a horse cannot tell you that. And it's a big animal. So you must know body language of a horse to notice this. But of course, anybody can see that whipping and beating like this, it's really tough and it causes pain. There's no doubt about this. And yeah, the FBI should not suspend her if this video is okay. So that's one thing for sure. What you see is that we don't understand at all is that a horse is making movements, the horse is cantering, and to lifting up the canter, you change the speed of a horse, but not whipping, not beating the horse. It doesn't make any sense. So she could be the best rider of the world. At least she is the worst teacher of the world.
Wow, so an excellent rider, but a terrible teacher. How are these horses trained to do the things that they do in the competition ring, though?
Yeah, this was not a Grand Prix horse, so it doesn't make any sense. Yeah, and this is not normal. But my client was very shocked because, first of all, this is a lesson. So this is between a student and a teacher. That's also horrible. And the second part is that this is not the way how you train a horse, not at all. So and nobody understands this.
And this is the incident we have on camera. And you're suggesting as well that this may have been, this kind of behaviour may have happened before, but just not have been filmed. This may have well have been going on in the stables. Is that your suggestion?
But that's correct. Yeah, that's correct.
I mean, many people have looked at sort of the timing of this coming out. You said that the footage has been in your possession for a couple of weeks. Obviously, the Olympics get underway in just a few days' time, and Charlotte Dujardin is one of the most decorated Olympians in Britain. What concern do you have that this is going to be very damaging to her?
Yeah, I think it's already damaging to her. Yeah, the press in the United Kingdom is really hard on her, I must say, and my client feels sorry for her. But it is what it is, and everybody is responsible for their own acts. But it was even worse when we speak about timing, if she did this during the Olympics. So actually she helped the British team. Now they can go to the Olympics. They do have a very good alternate. So there are still lots of chances to win medals for the British team.
Yeah, look, Stephan, people still may be wondering, why has this come out now, just days before the Olympics begin?
Because the timing during the Olympics or after the Olympics should be much worse for the British team. That's one thing. My client had so many doubts, fear, but also feel sorry for Charlotte Dujardin. It's a very difficult step to make. And it's like victims of a criminal act. It's not that you go to the police immediately. Some people need time to think this over. And
your client knows
it's actually right, because there is victim blaming already. And you see how much exposure this gets. It's breaking news everywhere in the whole world. So it's not a step you make easy.
Your client knows Charlotte Dujardin?
She knows her personally, yes.
And what does your client think now that this news is out?
Well, she is not feeling very comfortable. She feels sorry, but she says to me this morning, I did do the right thing. Absolutely.
Do you think that this happens in other stables, in other sort of spheres of this kind of dressage training and the training of horses? I'm trying to get from you, Stephan, how unusual this kind of behaviour is with people who work with horses and the animals.
Let's hope it don't happen everywhere, but it happens. And it's also a sort of scandal that already 3 Olympic riders are suspended due to horse abuse.
So this is an unfolding scandal. OK. Stephan Wensing, we do appreciate you making the time to speak to us today. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you.